And staying on with Ukraine, the prospect of the war going nuclear was not the only thing that came up during the G7 summit. What was also discussed was the need to provide Ukraine with more weaponry like the F-16 fighter jets, which Kiev has been seeking for quite some time now. And guess what? America has finally accepted this demand. After months of insistence that Ukraine did not need the jets, the American government has finally relented, saying that it will allow its Western allies to supply Ukraine with F-16 jets. And that's not all. American troops will also train Kiev's pilots to use the jets. And both these decisions were taken by Biden in Hiroshima in the presence of his G7 counterparts. So by when will Ukraine have these jets is the immediate question. Reports say as early as this fall, between August and September. And just how many jets will Ukraine receive? Reports say up to 200. At least that is how many Kiev has sought. Now, before we delve further, let's also get to know the jets a little bit. The F-16 is a single-engine, multi-role jet aircraft, meaning that it can be used in air-to-air or ground attack missions. The US Air Force calling the F-16, which first flew in the 1970s, a relatively low-cost, high-performance weapon system. And according to the Flight Global's World Air Forces Directory, almost 2,200 F-16s are active worldwide this year. And this makes them the single most popular combat aircraft across the planet, with 15% of the world's fleet. So how has Ukraine reacted to the news? With excitement, of course. Have a look at the tweet on your screen. It's from the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky. He says, and I'm quoting, "I welcome the historic decision of the United States to support an international fighter jet coalition. This will greatly enhance our army in the sky." So Ukraine is elated as a result of that decision, of course. But what about Russia? How is Moscow reacting? With disdain. Have a look at the report on your screen. Russia's deputy foreign minister has warned that providing Ukraine with F-16 fighter jets would be a colossal risk for the Western countries. Let me quote his exact statement. It reads, "We see that Western countries are still adhering to the escalation scenario. It involves colossal risks for themselves. In any case, this will be taken into account in all our plans, and we have all the necessary means to achieve the goals we have set." So basically what Russia is trying to say is that the delivery of the F-16 to Ukraine will not really change the course of this war. Forget about countering Russia's military objectives. But is there any merit to these claims is the question. Let's just try and find out. And to start with, the sheer number of F-16 jets around the world means that they have a proven record of effectiveness. This also means that they have an established logistical trail and a good number of spare parts available the world over. But that said, Ukraine may still face hurdles due to some drawbacks. The first challenge is maintenance. Experts say for a modern fighter jet like the F-16, training maintenance personnel can take longer than training pilots. How much longer? Months or even years, depending on the level of proficiency of the personnel. The second challenge will be pilot training, of course. Reports say to fly the F-16, the pilots need 3 months of training for the basics. Basics like getting the plane up in the air, keeping it in the air, and then landing it safely. And this is followed by combat training, which is even more complex. Experts say learning to employ these jets in a dynamic threat environment could take years. So Ukraine's fighter pilots will have to learn on the job. They will have to train themselves while also fighting the Russians at the same time. And challenge number 3, hiding the jets. Where will Ukraine base the F-16s? Reports say these jets perform the best on long, pristine runways, so they could face hurdles on the rougher, former Soviet ones dispersed across Ukraine. And to deal with this, Ukraine might have to extend a number of runways, repave them, a process which the experts say Russians are likely to detect. Now, these were the challenges. What I am about to show you next complicates matters even further. Have a look at this report. Joe Biden says that Zelensky has promised that he will not use the F-16s against Russia, that the jets will not enter Russian territory, or for that matter, be used in any Ukrainian offensive in the coming weeks. Then why does Ukraine even need them? What is even the point of acquiring these jets? Well, for defense preparedness. Ukraine plans to deploy them only if Russian aggression goes beyond their current capabilities. So at the end of the day, the delivery of these aircraft to Ukraine practically changes nothing. It does not really give Ukraine a military edge over Russia because the Ukrainians neither know how to fly these jets, nor do they plan to deploy them in the immediate term. And this is at best yet another symbolic move meant to allay fears that the West is abandoning Ukraine. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.